All right. Before we even give our introductions, I'm just gonna lay this out now, and I won't drag it out more than I have to. This show's not designed to be political. This is meant to be a program where Tyler, myself, and along with any guests that we have, kind of talk about things that escape from the debates and arguments of, the nation. However, in the light of the recent leak about the Supreme Court of the United States voting in the decision to abolish Roe v. Wade, I cannot in good conscience sit in silence. Women across the nation have the right to choose what happens to their body, no matter how difficult and controversial. I understand that I'm speaking from a privileged position, and I'll never have to make that decision to a level that a pregnant woman would. But I understand that allowing states to ban safe, sanitary, and accessible abortions will not solve the issue. It will only cause casualties or have children put into a broken foster care system. I wholeheartedly feel that this decision being made by the Supreme Court will only lead to the harm of working and middle-class women across the country. So,
bunch of fucking bozos, man.
They are. Imagine living in a first world country where 5 people can decide to take away rights.
Yeah, absolutely shameless. But yeah, definitely needed to preface that.
Yeah.
Before we jump into our weekly topics.
Yeah. It needed to be said. I had already chosen the subjects for this week, but I needed to get this out there. So, that being said, welcome back to Spectated with Harley and Tyler.
Yes, thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming back. Week 4.
Week 4. Right? It's crazy.
4.
Yeah. It's kind of going by kind of quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, our topics, as mentioned at the end of episode 3, are MGK and the NFL draft. So, I mean, that being said, I say we just dive right into this whole MGK situations.
These dudes are freaks, man. I don't know what's going on there. Like, just putting it bluntly, they're just freaks.
True.
I don't know.
Like, I used to think that the Pete Davidson Kim K relationship was weirder, but like the weirdest thing with them right now is what Pete said at the Met Gala when he's like, she wouldn't let me wear my propeller hat. Meanwhile, MGK, they're sucking on each other's blood.
Oh my gosh. As soon as I read that, I'm like, there's no way it's real. Like, that's some shit that like some 13-year-old going through their emo phase would like think is attractive, but nobody actually ever does it by the time they're an adult and are in a relationship.
Did you hear like
it makes no sense.
The full quote that Megan Fox said? That
just tell it to me again. I'm pretty sure I heard it though.
Yeah, that like so like she said on occasion they'll like drink like a little drop of each other's, but like he's more reckless and he'll literally like cut his, just like, I think her exact words were he just cut his chest and then be like, take my soul. Yeah.
Like, oh God, it is just so. It's sickening. First off, right? Like, that's just gross.
True.
That is not healthy. I don't care. Y'all are gonna get some type of fucking disease. I don't know what it is, but y'all getting all of them. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, do they actually legitimately think that it does something? And I think they do. I think they're like legitimately deluded themselves into that. It's like she's in some way is like connecting their souls.
Yeah,
or
she's
something.
Like, it'll connect our auras.
It's bonkers.
Yeah, like,
and then kind of in the same vein. Sorry, but like,
no, you're good.
Megan Fox is like that. She manifested MGK. Did you see that? Did you hear about that? You didn't?
No, I didn't.
She was basically like, So she's into like all that fucking astrology bullshit or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And said that MGK is like the manifestation of like her dream man when she was a teenager,
Dude.
and that like she finally like found him after a certain amount of time, and it's like, are you delusional?
Yeah, dude. I didn't hear about that, but our good old buddy Jake knows a thing or two about girls that
about
manifest
manifestation.
things.
True. Dude, like these astrology, they crazy, man. Like I don't care if you enjoy that shit. Like it's whatever.
Yeah.
But like, these people are just legitimately delusional.
It's crazy.
Like it is bewildering.
Um,
Like, does she legitimately think that she is the cause for MGK's birth?
yeah.
Did she will the universe for
she
MGK's
is
parents
10
to do the
years
deed?
older than him.
Like, yeah, like did she will MGK's parents to do the deed at the age of 10? Like,
I don't know, man.
Like that truly what she thinks? It is so weird.
It is. And like what I kind of noticed is that when they were dating and but it was kind of, I guess, closeted, MGK was not kind of acting off the rails. Like he switched to pop punk and stuff, but he wasn't like drinking blood. I like blah blah blah. I mean, he has said that before, but like not in the way that he says it now. But yeah, he wasn't like dyeing his hair pink and
dyeing his tongue black.
Dyeing his tongue black. Yeah.
No, definitely.
Dude's always been a little bit cringy. But I kind of used to find it like an admirable kind of cringy. Like you kind of can't hate on it. Like
no, yeah, I agree. I agree. Where it seemed like he was living like his way in spite of the haters.
Yeah.
Around, like 2018, 2019 era. Like he was kind of just still like living his fucking, like kind of a rock star, quote unquote, lifestyle, right? Regardless of the haters. And so it was like, to some people, like obviously it's not a lifestyle that I would want or anything, but like it's still admirable that he can that he was sticking true to like what he was, despite all the hate he was getting. But no, now it's just like it's just off the rails.
Yeah,
it's not this cool, or it's not even this like admirable rock star lifestyle. It just seems like he literally sees a fucking he's got the astrology app on his phone and opens it up and it's like, all right, this week you are gonna go sacrifice a baby goat in the woods and eat its heart out, and it's gonna give you a 5% better relationship with Megan Fox. And he reads that in the app and he's like, holy shit, that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah. And like I don't know, he's had like a kind of phase like this before a couple times, like when Bloom came out and that was kind of more of like a pop album with some rap. He kind of went into like a phase, and then with Binge and with the he went into a pretty lengthy phase up until about when Hotel Diablo came out, and then he settled down and he continued to be kind of subtle about it through Tickets to My Downfall. But then like I don't know if it's once they started posting about each other or once he got engaged, but it kind of went off the rails. Like it's never been to this effect.
No, yeah, it seemed like just his like erratic behavior definitely escalated post tickets to My Downfall, and it's just been like I thought it would cool down. I thought like maybe it's a newish relationship and it's kind of like a little freaky at first, but like and then that it would start to cool down. But no, like they are just consistently just getting crazier. It is like shocking. Like I don't know what's gonna come out next.
Yeah, it's weird. Like
It's gonna start getting dangerous. Like I don't know, they can't really escalate any further.
They're
like,
just gonna start taking each other's clothes off in public. I mean, she already wore a see-through dress because he told her to.
Yeah, true.
So like,
true.
I don't know where else this can really go.
Nah, they're gonna end up hurting themselves. I think. Just so reckless.
In the latest album, I mean, he literally has a song called Sid and Nancy, which is, the characters of Sid and Nancy in, I can't remember what movie it is, but I'm pretty sure it's in a movie that, like, they make, like, I think, essentially, like, a suicide pact, and they kill each other. Like, something...
Sid and Nancy from the film.
It's from the film Sid and Nancy, okay.
I don't know. It says following the breakout season. It's about the punk rock band, the Sex Pistols.
Yeah, but he literally talks about them just killing each other, and it's like, why are you fetishizing such odd and toxic things?
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely not something that you should fetishize. I think that's just really
one of
weird.
The
kind of
things
gross.
that he said most recently, like it's not anything like super harmful or like anything that weird, but he said that he'd like his next album that is supposed to come out this year as well to be rap. I don't even know if he can't with this person, like the personality he's at right now.
Yeah, I just don't know, like what topics he could do. You know what I mean? I don't know if topics is the right word, but like I feel like what his themes were in Sellout like would not work well with rap.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've there's obviously like like emo rap and stuff or like depressing rap, but it's a point of like struggling with those things, not from a point of like fetishizing those things or wanting that as a part of a relationship. Like I just don't know how that would actually translate into rap, and I agree. Like I don't think it's gonna be a good return.
I don't know, dude. Like I don't know. Hotel Diablo is probably my favorite or second favorite album of his. But like right now, part of me is like, I wish he'd kind of just go back to like the lace up general admission MGK just for a bit.
I agree. Like it felt just a lot more like down to earth too. Like it just felt it felt more genuine.
And like, don't get me wrong, the way he is now could be his authentic self, but it doesn't feel that way. It feels very forced.
No, that's why when I'm using like delusional, like I think they're like both legitimately like deluded. Like they're trying to trick themselves into thinking that this is what they actually like. Where it's like they probably, it's like one of, I don't know, fetish right word or kink, but whatever. It's like something that, like popped up in their head. And it's like, damn, like, like, oh, that sounds hot, or like, oh, that sounds good. But it's like, that should just be a fleeting thought, you know what I mean? And then, their actual self is like, actually, no, that would kind of suck. But then they're just tricking themselves into being like, oh, well, it's like, we did this. And, it was whatever. It wasn't that good. But what if we try something more extreme? And they're both kind of like, I feel like neither of them wants to actually like talk to each other and be like, you know what, this kind of is weird. And they're just both, I feel like feeding each other's like just like, delusion.
This is a little whack, actually. So
So I don't know. Yeah, hopefully he can return to form, or return to, I guess, what I would think is more authentic, more like old school style.
It's so weird because like when you look at Hotel Diablo, that it represents a look into the mind, right? Like the Hotel Diablo is a place where you are staying, which is
Yeah.
stuck in your own head, right? So in reality,
Yeah.
that's his authentic self. And then you can see that go into Tickets with songs like Lonely and like Play This When I'm Gone. You see that is his authentic self. And then like we have Now, where you don't really see anything like that. It's like the most authentic thing is about Megan Fox. So it's like she is his personality now. And like he's just building what he wants,
Yes.
he's building himself off of her, which like relationships are very, obviously meant to be two people together who care about each other a lot. But
Yes.
it's meant to be like, it's not meant to be one person and then another person that's kind of hooked to them. It's meant to be a symbiotic, thing. Two people working with each other and being themselves.
Yeah, it's two yes, but
Yeah,
two unique, two unique people and two unique things that come together and,
ex-
make something new, right? And can have a good relationship through that. But yeah, like I agree where it's more like instead of being two
yeah,
distinct people, it feels like he's trying to become basically her. Or she's, like just whatever their idea of each other is they're trying to just become
yeah.
like almost the
It's
same
very
person.
weird.
And it's really
What
I
it
think it's really
reminds me
unhealthy.
of
I
is
think it's really unhealthy too.
have you ever seen those like relationships where there's a girl who's very, very clearly out of the guy's league, and like, but the guy like warps his personality to kind of like just get an in with her, and so the relationship sucks to look
Yeah.
at because like it's so weird. That's what this feels like.
Yeah,
It's
where it's
unnatural.
yeah, where it's like the guy is like clearly just at the mercy or at the whim
Yeah,
of the girl, right? Like he's basically just permanently simping, like just permanently.
he's begging for it,
Like he's not even, not just
and
yeah, he's not even just simping to get into the
he's
relationship and acting weird. He's just literally permanently altering his
this dude has a
personality.
foot fetish, so he's literally saying "step on me."
Yep. Like I don't
He literally has her do
kind of
it in a
freaky.
music video.
Well,
It's weird. I don't know. I love most of his music. Not a fan of the latest album or Binge, but
mhm.
like this person,
Yep.
like I don't
Yep.
know, this phase or like what's going on right now, whatever it is, it makes it feel a little embarrassing to say that I like MGK.
No, yeah, I know it sucks. Like I agree. Where I, he's probably one of, or if not my most listened to
Yeah,
artist over the past couple years. Primarily Hotel Diablo and
yeah,
Tickets to My Downfall, of course. So I really like both those albums. Anyway, I try to say that to people, and they're like, "Oh, like fuck MGK," because they only know him from like
yeah. They
the
know Rap
Eminem drama,
Devil
right?
and him switching genres.
So it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, and then they'll actually start listening to music and be like, oh, like this is actually like pretty good. It's not too bad. So some
oh
are
yeah,
just permanently haters, but like, I felt like I could actually like introduce people to his music and say like, it's actually not all that bad. Some
hmm
stuff is bad, but like a lot of stuff's really good. But now after this, it's like,
yeah.
no,
It's like
like no, I can't. After mainstream sellout and after like all these just crazy
yeah.
ass
It's
behavior,
not
it's like
even like
no, I'm not going to introduce anybody to his music anymore.
it's not
He's just like
even
cringy.
like mainstream sellout like that is keeping me from like defending him. I can be like, don't look at Binge or mainstream sellout. Those albums actually, I hate them. like accumulated between the two at like maybe 8 songs out of like 28. But like it'd be like, look at look at Lace Up, look at General Mission, look at Bloom, Hotel Diablo, Tickets to My Downfall. That's 5 albums. And
like they're all pretty solid.
It's like I think
are really good.
Lowest rated one is probably like a B-, like to me, which that is solid. Yeah. But like it's the personality right now that it's like it's not defensible. Like if people like really you listen to that, I'm like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and it's like, if people want to get into MGK and like look at his his actual old good stuff, they're just going to be riddled with all this crap of him drinking blood and stuff. It's just it's like such a turnoff. You know what I mean? Like it is just such a turnoff to actually finding or enjoying what even is good. Because like, I don't know if this sounds weird, but like I don't think I even enjoy Tickets to My Downfall or Hotel Diablo as much anymore. Because I'm like, MGK comes on now, off my like Spotify shuffle, and now all I can think about is him slurping down some blood.
Yeah,
it's just weird.
Yeah, I kind of get it. I can still listen to them, and like, because like when I listen to it, I still think of that stage of his personality.
Yeah, you picture.
Yeah, and I kind of
just the old.
I tone out what's going on with him right now, but like.
Nah, I just feel like every other day, just some weird ass crap pops up on those little Snapchat stories you get, like under your feed. It's just like every other day I see one of those, and it's just like, oh my god, MGK is now literally Satan.
I did not consent to 98% of the stuff I know about their relationship. Like,
it's like I don't want to know, man.
It is dude. They're the theater weird couple that just does really weird shit in the hallway. Yeah, but like everyone's like, look at the new hot couple. It's like, no thanks. Yeah. Moving away from that topic before I, casually blow my brain out. Yeah. The NFL draft. This
NFL draft.
Some news I can actually somewhat get behind,
Yeah. A lot more enjoyable things to hear about here.
Here I have my list of winners in this year's draft. And like, let me throw it out there. This does not mean they're going to be the best teams ever or they're going to go 17-0. It just means they did the best getting the people in the draft. It has nothing to do with, the team structure from here or anything like that. Just the draft. All right. So at number 1, doing the best, I got the New York Jets, which I find I think the Jets had a really good draft. I have them at number 1 because like it's been like 4,000 days since they've been to a playoff. I think it's literally around 4,000 days. But they got time. Cornerback 1 in Sauce Gardner, so best cornerback in the draft. Wide receiver 1, Garrett Wilson, best wide receiver in the draft. And then edge 4, the 4th best edge in Jermaine Johnson, the 2nd. All in the 1st round. And then in the 2nd or 3rd round, they got the best running back in Breece Hall. So out of positions that they needed, they got 3 that were the best, a tight end in Jeremy Ruckett, that's the 2nd best tight end in their draft, and a top 5 edge. Yeah, it was.
No, they got a really good draft.
I was very surprised. At number 2, I have the Ravens. I don't really have any like strong names in particular, but like they went all in on defense. And they had 6 picks in round 4 alone. So they had like 13, 14 picks in this draft, something like that, if not more. I think they were dragged down by trading their player Hollywood because he was a really good receiver. But they traded him for, I think, a first round pick. That's a little weak, but you know, it's not as awful as it could be because they still have like tight end Mark Andrews, who's phenomenal and stuff like that. Third, I unfortunately have the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got QB Kenny Pickett. He was QB2, I believe. So they had Mitch Trubisky, and they're probably going to start Mitch this year. But it's smart to try to find your franchise quarterback in the draft now, like as soon as Ben retires, rather than try to wait. And then they got wide receiver George Pickens, and like, here's the thing about George. The Browns needed a wide receiver in round 2. And they could have gotten him, but they traded the pick away for 3 other picks in like the 3rd and 4th round. And I'll get into that later. But like, they could have gotten George Pickens, who's an absolutely phenomenal wide receiver, but he's probably going to be one of the most hated people in the NFL. Like, he exudes Black Air Force energy. Like, when he watched himself get drafted, he was like slouched or whatever. In one of the games, he like very, very aggressively and like unnecessarily forcefully threw down a cornerback, and then he shushed them, or he shushed that team's side of the stadium. Yeah. Yeah, he's either going to be the most hated and be suspended, or he's going to go all pro. But that's really what I have for them. They have a potential good duo with Pickett and Pickens, kind of like Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, or Aaron Rodgers and used to be Packer Devontae Adams. You know, relationships like that. Next up, I have the Titans for getting Malik Willis, who is QB1. And then Eagles for trading AJ Brown, which was a bozo move, but they got a lot of good picks out of trading him. So that was a good move.
Yeah, I was going to say, the Eagles had a lot of really good picks.
I have them lower for the bozo move, but they made up for it. But it's still like a little bit of a bet, you know what I mean? And then last, I have the Falcons for getting Desmond Ridder, the quarterback, and Drake London, the wide receiver, which goes back to, for the same reason that I have the Steelers high up, is because that potential relationship.
Yeah, no, I pretty much agree. The only other team I think had a really good draft was the Detroit Lions. Because you know, they got Aiden Hutchinson, who like is, you know, debatably the best pick of the draft. You know, you could obviously argue that Trayvon Walker's better. You know, he's first overall.
But Hutchinson is better.
Hutchinson's better. I mean, they're both, you know, ends, so it's kind of hard. Yeah, so I think Hutchinson's better. So I think they kind of like stole that away. And then, you know, they had a good wide receiver. Round 1, they had 2 round 1 picks.
Yeah.
Like Jameson Williams, good player. And then they just filled up quite a bit of, you know, defensive positions. kind of build around. But I thought like they had the best
all I'm
round
saying
one
is
overall. I think
they might not be last in the division this year if they get Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
You want to take him, please? Yeah, please take him.
True.
Like you need a quarter.
Take. Yeah. No, yeah. By no means do I think the Lions are going to be a super team anymore, but I do think that they had a really good draft, and that in a few years they can definitely develop all like these players.
Like legit, I do think they should trade like a fourth and a fifth for Baker and like pay half his salary because they need a young quarterback that is still better than Jared Goff. And like he has a lot better of a team to work with. You know what I mean? So yeah, I do agree with you there. I think they're probably right on the outskirts of what I have listed. Because I have like 5 or 6 teams. They're definitely a top 10 for the draft. But yeah, other teams that I want to discuss. The Bears. They had no first round pick. Their first pick was in the second round. So they kind of went all in on defense and like building an O-line and stuff, which good. But they kind of got a weak receiver, like receiving core out of this draft. And they lost Robinson. They don't have Jakeem Grant anymore. So that's something they need to keep working on. I'd give them a C+.
Yeah, they didn't really get. Yeah, they didn't really get too many good.
I'll give them
picks,
a C+.
like, at all.
Yeah, it was like their defense was good.
Okay.
They did pretty good for their O-line to actually be able to potentially protect Justin Fields this year. But other than that,
yeah. Yeah, homeboy spent half the season on his ass.
9 sacks in one game.
Yeah.
Next, the Green Bay Packers. Here's this confuses me to no end. All right, they had 2 first-round picks, right?
Yeah.
2, and they went in on defense for both. Not having Devon, even though they know full well they lost their best wide receiver. They don't have Devontae Adams anymore. They didn't pick.
Yeah, I mean it's weird. They didn't go for a receiver pick till like near the start of the second round. It was start of the second round.
Yeah.
It was pick 34.
Which isn't Christian a bad Watson. Pick, but it is far from great. There were better wide receivers available, and you
had round 1.
Yeah, they could have gotten
22. I mean,
they could have gotten like a way better wide receiver, and like because I'm pretty sure they still had some good ones in round 1, but by round 2, a lot of them were gone. They couldn't get like the phenomenal deep threat that they needed, like Devontae Adams. So looks like A-Rod's weapons this year are going to be Randall Cobb and Amari Rodgers.
Yeah, no, I think their offense definitely it's kind of like downgraded.
Got a top 3 quarterback, but not really anything spectacular to use him with. But the last team that I want to discuss is obviously the good old Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I mean they literally gave up every pick known to mankind to get Deshaun. Didn't have any first or second round picks. That is so
they
absurd.
Gave it to the Texans for 3 other picks, which I was very confused by. It felt a little bit like a bozo move because they could have gotten George Pickens. But again, like I kind of understand them not because Black Force energy, like Black Air Force energy. But True.
Hey, I mean, he'd fit right in with Deshaun.
He'll fit in with the Steelers.
Just have a bunch of like super hated players. Yeah,
they are notorious for having very hated players too.
Yep.
But like, I don't know. It's like despite having no first round pick, and I'm trading that second one, they still got what is it like they got the best kicker of the draft. They got David Bell, the wide receiver, who was named the best wide receiver in the Big Ten. They got I'm gonna have to look here, but they got quite a few good roles and good weapons.
See, they got
Martin Emerson.
Yeah, they got
that
Martin
one was
Emerson
weird to
at
me
cornerback.
like, they didn't really need a cornerback, but like it's like all right. Yeah,
I mean,
and then
I
they
guess
got
it
a
could just be
running
somebody
back,
as like backup too, But like that's kind of weird. That was like their first pick.
They got a top 10
which
running back
is kind
in
of
the
weird.
draft, which really confused me because like they got Nick Chubb, they got Kareem Hunt, they got Dearness Johnson, and like I understand that like Kareem Hunt after this season might not be around, like he might be on a different team.
It's like they still have two,
but yeah,
really
it's a
options.
little weird to me. Yeah, they what else we have here? Yeah, they got a top 5 center because they did have to release their center to make room in cap space for Deshaun. So they got, good player there. Overall, I'd give them like probably a B-, a B. They did good with what they had. They made a little like some decisions that were a little weird, but
yeah. I mean, like we've said so many times too, though, it's just like they gambled a lot on Deshaun. Like I really hope it works out for them.
Yeah,
they gambled a lot. They gambled a lot of players they already had, a lot of good picks. So it's like they. All right, Craig, you better not leave on us again. Sorry for there's going to be a little, like, I don't know, weird little bit with the audio there. Craig is a bozo and can't record. Craig's a robot, by the way. Don't get mad at us.
Craig is a robot.
But back to what I was saying is, like, I really hope it works out for the Browns because they really did gamble a lot on this Deshaun Watson trade. And, I mean, like, they look like a really solid team still. But they are... it's just very circumstantial. Like they had to give up a lot of other options, right? They had to give up a lot of really good picks in the draft. They had to give up some of their players, a lot of salary cap. So it's like, if it doesn't work out, they're going to be in a terrible position. But I mean, overall with what they had in the draft, I think they did really well.
Yeah.
For like what picks they had. I think they got like the pretty much almost the best of what they could have got with the picks they had.
Yeah, I agree.
For the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, again, it's not really the players that are the issue. They got really, really good players in the positions that they drafted. Like phenomenal players.
Yep.
The things that are a little weird are like that kind of hold them down are not having that first round pick and then trading their second round pick and then going for a kicker, which they didn't really need. Their first pick being a cornerback, which they just made Denzel Ward the highest paid cornerback in the league. Yeah, it's just kind of decisions like that I don't really understand. But
Yeah, I wonder if maybe part of the logic too is they want to train a cornerback under Denzel, so that like inevitably once he's done,
that's possible
that they have somebody who can kind of step up into that role.
That's possible.
Because like I know that quite a few sports teams will do that. Is they'll draft players that they seem as like a similar build or similar like role filling as one of their star players, so that they can kind of train under them. Like quite a few basketball players, trained under
Yeah.
Kobe type of idea and like picked up a lot from him. So I wonder if like that's maybe part of the plan, but it's still kind of weird that was their first pick.
I agree. Yeah, it was kind of weird. A little bit of a weird decision for it to be their first pick. Other than that, I mean, like, I don't know if you saw the drama that was going on in the middle of day 2 between the Browns and the Panthers. They were apparently very, very close to deciding a trade for Baker for a quarterback. Sorry, and I think they decided like what picks they were going to do, but they couldn't decide how much salary the Browns were going to pay, and because of that, the Panthers went, all right, fuck you. We're going to draft a quarterback right in front of you. It just drafted Matt Corral, who is like a raging alcoholic, I'm pretty sure.
Yikes.
It was really weird. It was kind of, I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I don't know if that is the move particularly.
So that was an interesting one. Yeah, so basically the teams left to potentially get Baker are the Seahawks, maybe, and the Lions, maybe, and that's it.
Yeah.
So
I do hope he ends up on the Seahawks, but it's just another thing that we'll have to see. Because we should be finding that out pretty shortly, right? If he's going to be on a different team, probably within another month.
Yeah, if they're gonna trade him, they kind of got to get a trade going soon because like teams are already starting practices and stuff.
Oh yeah, and all the teams are going to be training, so it's like if somebody wants him, they gotta get moving. Because at least get him a couple months.
Yeah, quarterback isn't a role that you can kind of just trade for mid-season and expect the team chemistry to be good.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's like, like the crucial role in football, right? Like that's the one that kind of determines the chemistry and tempo of a team for the most part.
I don't know. I guess maybe the Bucks could kind of just try to pull up and be like, we'll take him as a backup.
I could see that.
Let him train under Brady, and then when Brady legitimately retires, let him at it.
Yeah. For the 5th time.
Yeah. True. Oh, that reminds me. I don't even have this written down or anything. The Bucks they drafted a higher up tight end. So I don't know if Gronk is coming back.
No, yeah, maybe not. I wouldn't be, surprised. I think we talked about it last time, 2 times ago, like, that we didn't really think he would come back. That he seemed like he was really satisfied.
Yeah, I don't know that he will.
With his career.
GM made a statement saying that them drafting a tight end doesn't in any way influence if Gronk will return, but like I don't think they're confident that he will, and I'm not really confident that he will. I think he's retiring.
No, yeah, and I think it's smart that they should have avoided drafting a tight end on the assumption that he'll come back. I think it's a lot smarter to actually start getting new picks and getting new people to train up in that role, and not rely on somebody who is just a maybe at coming back. And then if they do come back, whether or not they're actually going to stay for more than another year. One thing I want to talk about actually about the draft that I thought was interesting that I saw was the first 5 picks overall were all
defense. Yeah.
And pretty much like all like forward defense, right? Like pretty much up on the line. Which I don't know the exact year, but it said that was like the first time that had happened since like 96 or something. Or like 91. I don't know the exact year, but
this was a
while. Which I thought was really
this
interesting.
draft had the most picks traded since like 2013 too, for like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yeah, so it was interesting. It seemed like a lot of teams were really kind of banking on like defensive line, specifically like cornerbacks and defensive ends were like the hot picks, and then like wide receivers after that.
Yeah, they kind of went like all in on defense here.
Yeah. So I mean, like, what the only really notable even quarterback pick for the most part was
first
Kenny
round.
Pickett
He was the only
Steelers.
Quarterback. Yeah. Other than him, there wasn't a quarterback drafted. Like they weren't drafted until the 3rd round. Yep.
I think until 3rd. Yeah. Which is like, I don't know, that just feels weird to me. I don't know if it is like actually weird compared to past drafts, but that just kind of feels weird, right? That a lot of teams like they were focusing on their edge, like their defensive edge, and then not really much focus on the offense.
Yeah, it kind of goes to
receivers.
It kind of goes to show
like
how much
picks.
like how confident they feel in the quarterbacks. These teams weren't super confident in quarterbacks of this class. That's why they waited until the 3rd round if they needed a quarterback, and then at 3rd round you're going to be a backup for at least a year or 2. They're not.
Yeah, no, but I was thinking too, like to me that just kind of shows like most teams I think in the NFL are like for the most part like a lot of teams in the NFL are just have good quarterbacks.
Now,
like quarterback role is just kind of like it's like as stacked as I can even think
the
of.
AFC
You know what I mean?
now.
Like almost like I would say over half the teams just have like a really good quarterback. And then, the other half still have like decent, like it's kind of understandable that like none of these teams are really investing heavily in trying to get a quarterback pick because I don't know, a lot of these teams just have a really good quarterback. Like it just seems like quarterback is not the role that is really an issue for a lot of teams right now.
Quarterback other than the Patriots were teams that kind of needed a quarterback, but like not horribly. Like Sam Darnold's a bad quarterback, so Matt Corral being drafted makes sense. Marcus Mariota for the Falcons, not a super great quarterback. Definitely isn't going to get you playoff wins, but he gets the job done. Makes sense that Desmond Ritter would be drafted by him. Kenny Pickett going in the 1st round makes sense because he's from Pittsburgh. He went to Pittsburgh College, which is literally next door to the Steelers facility. And their quarterback retired. Him going in the 1st round makes sense. The only one that kind of doesn't make sense is Malik Willis going in the 3rd round to the Titans. Because, like, first of all, the Titans have Ryan Tannehill, who is now pissed off. And the fact that he even went in the 3rd round is kind of crazy because like his combine stats were really good. But
yeah, I'm looking here. He was like 1st like overall for quarterbacks, like in terms of position rank. He was the
he was
overall best. And, didn't go till the 3rd round. That's like kind of crazy. That the best quarterback in the draft didn't go until the 3rd round.
It's definitely weird. It does make sense for a team like the Titans despite having Ryan Tannehill, because like they're not confident in his ability. Kind of same way with what happened to Baker. The difference is Titans never said anything about sticking with Ryan, whereas the Browns did say they were sticking with Baker. But like other than that, it's the same thing, literally the exact same circumstance. Yeah, it was a very interesting draft, that is for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I do hope, some of these teams look better. Like, a lot of teams got some really good defensive picks. I want to see if that like makes an impact for them, right? I want to see if the Lions start stepping up, the Eagles. I don't know. Obviously these are all rookies, so it probably won't change how good a team is right away. But I am interested to see if there's like signs that they can start developing these players into, in a few years,
some signs of progression.
Especially like I guess the Ravens too. Just going back to them, they were already a really good team, and they arguably had what did you say, second best draft probably?
Yeah, second best.
Or I forgot what you ranked it, but pretty much like at the top of the draft, and they're already a good team. I think they were the ones that probably had like, in terms of already being a good team, they had the best draft by far, I think. Because like all the other teams that had good drafts aren't really that amazing of teams, right? I mean, I think the
I'd
Packers
give them
had
like a
pretty
C+.
good draft, but other than that, I think the Ravens. Like I could see the Ravens. This might be the push they need to actually be contenders this year, or at least get a deeper playoffs run.
It's very complicated because like the entire AFC is incredibly contested right now, but the AFC North is it's very bad because like Bengals went to the Super Bowl last year and they kept all the threats that they had, and they drafted and went in free agency to cover up weaknesses like with their O-line, because Joe Burrow got sacked in last season a total of 70 times.
That's gonna do a number on the body.
And they still went to the Super Bowl. And then you got the Steelers, who got the Nickelodeon valued player, and now they got Black Air Force Energy George Pickens and Kenny Pickett. And then you have the Browns with Deshaun Watson, Amari Cooper. They still got Myles Garrett. Jadeveon Clowney might be coming back. They got the Big Ten, best in the Big Ten.
No, it's actually funny. The AFC North is basically just the NL West from MLB.
Yeah,
it's
which is crazy because like
none of the teams are like the best team, quote unquote, right? Or like like top two, but like they are all like upper half teams. I think like they're all really
think about it.
Good. And all have the potential to be contenders.
2 of them have won a Super Bowl. 3 of them have been. And in the last 10 years, all of them have had at least like 2 years that they have a losing record. And especially like the Bengals, who 2 years ago went like 3-12 or like 3-13. Like, so the fact that they've all, rebuilt.
Yeah, 2-14.
Yeah,
2-14, 2019.
like
Rough.
Bengals rebuilt. They got a good quarterback and they got a good wide receiver, and they came back strong. The Browns.
No, it is just by far, I think,
it
the
is.
Titans division.
I
It
think
is
the
crazy.
AFC West is really contested as well. The Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. Yeah,
Yeah, Raiders.
yeah.
Yeah, that's another pretty tight league.
Other than that, you can kind of get a clear picture of all the other divisions of like how you think they'll go. Those
Yeah. No, you like, yeah, there's
yeah,
pretty
but
much like a clear, for the
yeah,
most
because
part,
like
clear, like somebody's
let's
gonna
look
make it
at
out.
AFC East. The Bills, are going to get first.
Yeah, the
But
Bills.
like the other three are kind of loose, but the Bills
Yeah.
are going to get first. But AFC
Yeah.
North and AFC West, you don't know any of the positions. They are too contested. It is,
Yeah.
it's so tight between all of them that any team could legitimately go in any position. And yeah, so I kind of agree with you that they basically are the NL West.
Yeah, I
Speak.
I'm just looking through here too, and you look at like AFC South. Titans are just better. You look at the NFC, and there's pretty much like just a clear better team everywhere. But yeah, AFC North is just crazy. AFC West pretty crazy too. But then looking here too, like AFC East, Jets had one of the best drafts, and they're the worst team, or had the worst record last season. The AFC East, they only had 4 wins. Like, I wonder, like, by no means do I think they're a playoffs team now, but like, even getting up to 6, 7 wins, like that's a pretty sizable improvement.
I hate to break it
I
to you,
think they could
but I
probably
think
do it
the
with this draft.
Dolphins might be last in that division.
No, I agree. I agree. I feel like
they got Tyreek, but like they don't have the quarterback to throw to him.
Yeah, they didn't really have. Yeah, and their draft was just, it's meh. Like, they didn't really. They haven't made any, other than Tyreek. They haven't made any like really good substantial moves to actually push them to being a good team. So I agree. Like, I think they're going to be second to last or
Ritter
last.
and Matt Corral. They both got to go against Tom Brady twice a year.
Unlucky. Yeah, that's just rough, man. All right, here's the football. Go win us a game.
First time playing. Here you go. Go against
Boss
Tom.
Health Bar shows up.
That you better win, otherwise we're trading you.
Yeah. Literally just a huge fucking health bar appears in the sky. It's just, I would just cry, man. That has to be so horrifying. Imagine rookie first game and you have to go against Tom Brady.
Dude,
like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, you would just be put in the fucking dirt.
Oof. Your team's in some trouble. Speaking of the NL West, though, that you mentioned earlier, positions changed. Now Dodgers are first, Padres are second, Giants are third.
Yeah, I just but I think even after this, like, I feel like it just
what we had said
validates. Is that the right word? Like, validates what we had said. Because, dude, like, look at these teams. The worst team is the Diamondbacks that are 12-13.
Yeah,
it is absurd. Like, basically, the NL West worst team is basically tied with the second best in the other 2 NL regions.
Yeah.
And that's their worst team. No, like, I think what we said, it's gonna literally be, top NL East, top NL Central, and then fucking four teams from the NL West because
it's
they are
so,
just so much better.
dude, it is so unfair.
They're just so stacked.
It is so unfair.
No, like it is actually
Yeah.
crazy.
Then the Mets at 18-8.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I like pretty much. I feel like it's for the most part is around
Yeah.
kind of what we were thinking so far. I think the AL Central's been kind of bad. Like the Twins have, I feel like played
that's
better
the
than
thing.
expected.
Yeah.
But I mean that's about it. Yankees are dominant,
Yeah,
Mets are
and then,
dominant.
like,
And then obviously
and then,
Dodgers,
it's
Brewers,
still
Mets.
it's still pretty early.
I like how we
True.
just
It's
sidetracked
still
over to
early
MLB.
to
That's
talk
funny.
about it too, like, strongly.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like it's
Yeah.
definitely something we'll go more in
Yeah.
depth.
I
In a
think
couple
in
weeks or another month or so, we'll go in depth.
a few weeks. I
new
have a list
episodes.
of what we're doing for each episodes. Towards the end of the month, we'll talk about them again. We'll do a little update.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, do you have any more thoughts or little things you want to talk about?
Not really.
Here
Overall,
towards the end.
as mentioned in the intro, here we'll just MGK equals Supreme Court equals Bozo. And the draft was shocking, and this is the decisions that they made, but overall a lot of the teams made good solid decisions, and the season is looking really interesting.
Yeah, no, I'm actually kind of excited. I might actually start paying more attention. Seems like there's a lot more like closely contested things and like just a lot of things I don't want to see like how they develop out.
Yeah, it's it's weird.
Interest.
This basketball season is one I got really into basketball. Maybe this one's going to be the one you get really into football. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely looking interesting. I think that's just about all I have. If you have anything else.
Yeah, no, thank you guys so much for week 4. Do you have the topics for next
episode 5,
week,
I have
share with that?
Moon Knight review and Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness review. That is if both of us can go see it. If not, we can probably do Moon Knight and like best comic book movie or something like that.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely finish
Doctor Strange.
Moon Knight
Doctor Strange is more up in the air
for next week. Yeah, that's up in the air for me. If I'll have seen it by then.
If not, we're definitely gonna.
Sure.
If not, well, you can probably push it back to episode like 7 or 8 because I'm not 100% sure when I'll even see it.
Yeah, okay.
Moon Knight.
But yeah, so Moon Knight and more movie-ish, comic-y,
exactly,
nerdy topics.
Yeah.
Just a more nerdy episode. But yeah, thank you guys for listening
so much, guys.
To episode 4 of Spectated Podcast.
Hopefully we'll have you sticking around in episode 5. All right.
Peace.